The 40% rule and how much lot you actually need for SB9. One of the most common questions homeowners ask when they start looking in SB9 is, how big of a lot do I have to have? And where people start researching online, they often hear different things: minimum lot sizes, square footage requirements, or rules about how large the property needs to be. So today I want to clarify how lot size actually works under SB9 and explain one of the most important rules that many homeowners don't fully understand. First, here's the key point. SB9 does not set a statewide minimum lot size to be eligible for a split. There isn't a rule that says your property must be 6,000 square feet or 7,000 square feet to qualify. But there is an important requirement that affects how your lot can be divided. It's called the 40% rule. When you split a property under an SB9, the new parcels must be approximately equal in size. Specifically, the smaller parcel must be at least 40% of the original lot size. For example, if your property is 8,000 square feet, then the smaller of the two parcels must be at least 3,200 square feet. You can't create one large lot and one very small lot. The split has to be reasonably balanced. This rule is important because it affects how much usable space each parcel will actually have after the split. And this is where homeowners are often run into confusion. Even though SB9 doesn't set a minimum lot size, the reality is that the property still needs to be large enough to create two functional parcels. Each parcel has to be able to support required setbacks, access for vehicles and emergency services, utility connections, and enough buildable area for a home. When you factor in setbacks, driveway space, building area, smaller lots maybe technically meet the 40% rule, but still not work well in practice. That's why the most successful SB9 projects tend to be on properties that are at least 5 to 6,000 square feet or larger, depending on the layout in the city. But size alone still isn't the deciding factor. Layout matters just as much, and often more. Two properties with the same square footage can have completely different outcomes. Things like lot width and depth, the position of the existing home, easements, or utility locations. Available space for driveway access comes into play, and overall lot shape. All of these factors affect whether the land can actually be divided into two parcels that are usable and valuable. Access is especially important. In many cases, the new parcel needs safe and legal access for vehicles, utilities, and emergency services. If there isn't enough space for a driveway or a proper circulation, the split may not be feasible, even if the lot size looks large on paper. At Riechers Engineering, evaluating these physical constraints is our critical part of our feasibility process. Our team reviews lot dimensions, building placement, access options, setback requirements, utilities, and local city standards to determine whether a property can be divided and whether the resulting parcels will actually work in the real world. Because the goal isn't just to meet the 40% rule. The goal is to create two functional properties that make sense for future development, resale, or long-term value. And since Riechers Engineering has completed more SB9 projects than any other engineering firm in California, we've seen firsthand how properties with similar sizes can have very different outcomes based on layout and access. If you've been wondering whether your property is large enough for SB9, the best way to find out is to have your specific site reviewed. You can book a call with our team, and we're happy to take a look at your property, walk through the layout considerations, and give you a realistic assessment of what may be possible. Because with SB9, it's not just about how big your lot is, it's about whether your property can be divided into two parcels that actually work.